Hi students, how's it going? It's Pete Posner here at Big Break English, your British English teacher. And in today's lesson, we're going to look at how to develop an idea in a paragraph for IELTS Writing Task 2. And if you need extra help with IELTS Writing Task 2, you can download my free ebook in the description of the video. 12 tips for scoring higher on IELTS Writing Task 2. Okay, on with the lesson. Okay, students, here we have an IELTS writing task 2. Education should be accessible to people of all economic backgrounds. All levels of education, from primary school to tertiary education, should be free. To what extent do you agree with this opinion? Okay, so why don't you pause the video and take 2 to 3 minutes to discuss this with your partner, or if you're on your own, take a couple of minutes to think about this, and then we're going to look at a model paragraph together. Okay? Now, I'm going to read this model paragraph to you, and while I'm reading, I want you to consider the following questions. Do you think the number of ideas expressed in the paragraph is appropriate? And is the development of ideas sufficient? Okay, are you ready? So, education is a basic right and it shapes the future of young people. It promotes equal opportunities to all members of society and it combats segregation. Also, it reduces the risk of young people getting into debt. Okay, so take a couple of minutes to consider that question, okay, and then we'll look at it together. Okay, so here's the problem, right? Here we have too many ideas. I counted 5 here, right? We've got one, free education is a basic right. Another idea, it shapes the future of young people. A third idea, it promotes equal opportunities to all members of society. A fourth idea, it combats segregation. And finally, a fifth idea, it reduces the risk of young people getting into debt. Now, while these ideas are all relevant, they're all good ideas, relevant to the question, the problem is that they are all in one paragraph and none of them are developed. So what you have to do is in one paragraph, choose one idea, right? That will be your topic sentence, and then you should develop it. Okay, so avoid listing ideas. Okay, so why don't you take a look at this question, see if you can take a few minutes to consider it, pause the video, right? The question is, what questions would you ask the writer about each idea to help him or her develop them? Okay, so for example, free education is a basic right. Okay, so ask the person who wrote this some questions to get that person to develop this idea. Okay, so pause the video, 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll have a look together. Okay, so here goes. So you should ask yourself information questions while you're writing to help you develop ideas. Okay, so let's see what questions in this case you might ask yourself. For example, free education is a basic right. Why? Why do you think it is a basic right? It shapes the future of young people. How? How does it shape the future of young people? Or in what way does it shape the future of young people? It promotes equal opportunities to all members of society. Again, how? Or in what way? Or, for example, who can you talk about as a personal example? Someone you know, an experience that you had, right? 4, it combats segregation. Again, how? can you explain it? Or, for example, can you give an example, again, a personal example, someone you know, where who had an experience with this, right? It reduces the risk of young people getting into debt. Again, how, right? Or give an example. Who? Maybe you had a classmate at university who got into debt and that was a big problem. Okay, so those are just some of the information questions that you can ask yourself while you're writing so that you develop your ideas. Okay, guys, so let's apply this now. Here is one of those 5 ideas that we looked at. Free education promotes equal opportunities to all members of society. Okay, so think about this. How would you develop this idea? What information questions would you ask yourself? Okay, pause the video, take a couple of minutes to think about this or talk to your classmate, and then I'm going to take you through this step-by-step writing a model paragraph. Okay, so here is this idea as your topic sentence, right? Free education promotes equal opportunities to all members of society. Okay, ask yourself a question. How, right? That is, if all schools were financed by the government through taxation rather than parents, they would be accessible for children from all economic backgrounds, and the government could distribute funding fairly so that all schools could afford good teachers and facilities. Okay. Yeah, but so what? I mean, how does this link back to the topic idea that free education promotes equal opportunities to all members of society? Then, with all members of society receiving the same quality of education, there will be more of a level playing field when it comes to gaining the best grades for admission into top universities. Okay, now that is adequately explained now. That is sufficiently developed as a paragraph. But we could also add something, right? For example, yeah, we could give an example like where, right? Where can you talk about as an example for this? So as I said, we could stop here, right? But if you want to go for the top band scores, 8.5 or 9 in IELTS, then you should develop your essay even more. Like aim for 400 words instead of 280 or 90. Okay, so back to this. For example, in countries where there are private schools like in the UK, the lack of equal opportunities is noted when one considers that a high number of UK politicians were privately educated, or that the elitist universities of Oxford and Cambridge admit a large number of private school pupils who then go on to get the best jobs. Okay, good example, but again, so what? Let's link this back now to the topic sentence. Okay. In other words, if all education was free, all members of society, including those from low-income families, would have the potential to fill these positions. Okay, so now that makes complete sense, right? That links back to this idea that free education promotes equal opportunities to all members of society. Students, so as a summary, keep it to one idea for each paragraph and fully develop that idea by continually asking yourself questions, right? Why? How? In what way? for example, who, a personal example, or where, in what country, as a case study, right? And also ask yourself, so what? That will make sure that you link what you're writing back to the topic sentence, right? So this so what is useful to keep you on track, right? Keep you relevant to your topic sentence, okay? So I hope that was useful today. And remember that if you want more tips for your writing, task 2, you can download my free ebook in the description, 12 tips for scoring higher on IELTS writing, task 2. Completely free, my gift to you. Okay, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it and please like it, and I'm really looking forward to the next one.